ॐ समानो मन्त्रः समेतिः समानी समानं मनः सह चित्तमेषाम् समानं मन्त्रमभिमन्त्रयेव समानेन वो हविषा जुहोमि. So this is the third mantra of the Aikamatya Sukta. So for those of you who would like to get a reference to where it is, this is in volume 3, page number 8, mantra number 3. So whenever there is a very important project to be executed, whether it is a yajna, it can be a board meeting, it can be an important project meeting at your work, or it can be coming together of all the family members for a very important event, say like for example a wedding, or you have to plan a wedding, or you have to plan a vacation for the whole family. So if all of those things are something really important project is to be taken up and executed, so we assemble different people. We assemble different people who will play different roles. So you can see, especially in a work setup. So as far as family is concerned, there will be mutual love and affection and care, and therefore there will be better cooperation. And if in an altruistic work, like when we get together for social service or something, then also there will be harmony. But then we have also seen that even where an assembly comes together for an altruistic purpose, but with absolutely no personal gain in sight. I'll give a very classic example, is where a few people will come together and they say, we want to build a temple. So what kind of people come and assemble to build a temple in their city? They're all selfless people. And they're all ready to put in not only their money, but also their time, their contribution of time. But why is that? Because I have been sitting on a couple of board of trustees in the temples, and I have also been involved in many occasions in temples. But what I have found is, in the first phase, that is the building phase, there will be a lot of cooperation. But as soon as the building phase is over, when the question of maintenance phase comes, when a lot of people come to the temple, they assemble, and money starts coming in, at that point of time, clashes of ego starts. This is one of the reasons why a number of cities, even in North America, where number of temples have been built, the people have split themselves. In fact, a friend of mine was telling about his city. So in his city, it appears there was one major temple where the whole community came together. And then they built a gorgeous temple. Within a couple of years, there was a clash of egos. Then one of the persons comes and says, I will build my own temple. Then another person who has got some money will say, I will build my own temple. So now what has happened is, in that city, there are close to 21 temples. And we have seen that even here in Columbus, we had one temple, and now we are having 3 or 4 temples. So why this happens? It is because whatever be the project, when people come together, initially there is a lot of harmony, initially there is a lot of friendship and cooperation, but slowly personal agenda, personal egos will start clashing. And our Vedic sages knew this very well. Suppose you take and ask me a question. There are 10,400 mantras in the Rig Veda. So what is the one single thread that connects the entire Rig Veda? Because after all, Rig Veda is the origin of all the other branches of the Veda. So it is very critical that we study Rig Veda very, very intimately. So what is that one single thread throughout the Rig Veda? It is unity. It is oneness. It is cooperation. Rig Veda acknowledges variety, but it fosters oneness. This the classic mantra which is there, Ekam Sat Vipra Bahudha Vadanti, Indram Mitram, etc. That means we may have so many deities, we may have so many agendas, so many things, but Ekasutrata, one single thread. That one single thread is there is only one absolute reality. And that one absolute reality is the harmonizing factor. So why should we say there is only one God? Two reasons. One is there is indeed there is only one divine thing, only one God. There is no two. Because Dvaitadvai Bhayam, when there is two, there is fear. So therefore one single entity, what that does is, when it comes to action and activity, the assembly of things which is dravya and executed in a period of time, kala, and then the activity itself, karma. As soon as dravya, kala and karma come together, instantaneously this ekasutrata will get challenged. That is why whether it is a business organization or whether it is a spiritual organization, there will always be this unfortunate rift. Even look at Christianity. If you go to any downtown of any city, what do you see? Every second building is a church. Why? It is because obviously when that town or the village was founded, there was only one church, and then eventually there was differences of opinion. They will say, Anyamendram Karishyami, I will go and build my own church, I will go and build my own church. So the Rigvedic rishis, after writing these 10 mandalas, 10,400 mantras they composed, and then finally said, whatever we have been telling all this time, it is necessary to re-emphasize that people should function in harmony. And therefore he is saying, each one of us who come to the table for discussion, for work, should suspend our personal interest, and we must work only for the collective interest. Then only everybody succeeds. So when I say I work for collective interest, what does it mean? That means I care for you, I care for the other person, I care for the third person. That means the second person, the third person, the fourth person also cares for me. So in that dynamic, even my own desires also are actually met. This I have seen sitting in many meetings, in cross-disciplinary meetings. There will be marketing people, there will be finance people, there will be IT people, and each one of them will be fighting a turf war. And I'm sure this is your experience also. And this is also our experience in the board of trustees of various temples. And this is also the problem even at home, unfortunately. Because that ekasutrata, the one holding thread, called the head of the family, has lost the influence, either moral or positional influence on the members of the family. So it is because our sages looked at all these things, they created the Aikamatya Sukta, the Sukta of unity. So therefore, first when they come to the table, what is the declaration they do? The declaration is Havisha Juhomi. Samanena Vaha Havisha Juhomi. Havisha Juhomi means through the oblations into the Agni in the Yajna context, through making available my personal resources for the common cause. So what do? We take all our personal resources and place it on the altar of the assembly. And that's why we have the Agni in between us. So this mantra is saying, I am going to demonstrate to you that kind of attitude by which I offer a selfless participation and complete participation in this project. So in this context, samano mantraha. So how do we deliberate? The deliberation must be friendly and balanced. Samana means both friendly, mana means measure. Samyak measure, proper measured friendship that is displayed to everybody. And then the ideas that are presented must be balanced. And therefore, this friendly, balanced deliberation. So what do I bring to the table? Samitihi, the knowledge that I have assimilated regarding the project. And this samitihi, samani, in an agreeable, proper disposition manner, because many times people speak the truth, but they speak it very harshly. And in the harshness of the speech, somebody's mic is on. Would you please mute it? So when something is conveyed in an agreeable manner with a good disposition, good body language, good collection of words, when that is done, what happens is the emotional control is displayed by the speaker. So when the emotional control is there, the speech becomes wholesome. When the speech becomes wholesome and agreeable, the entire assembly's chitta will become samanam. So saha chittam esham of this assembly. So then that to get that kind of a standard of the mind and emotion, control of the mind and the emotion, one has to pray, because it doesn't come automatically. Because if just Dharma Shastra could change us in our life, the largest collection of literature that is available is on Dharma Shastra only. Why, in spite of so many Dharma Shastras and so much of teaching from the beginning of times, the attitude of people have not changed? It is because samana manaha and samana mantra is the key factor that has been lost. And that is the one that this mantra is emphasizing. Hey Agne, we offer our oblations and prayer. Naha samanam mantram. May our minds become harmonized. See, this is a special yajna where we are not asking for any material benefit. There are many yajnas where we ask for this and that. But here we are asking for Naha Mantram Samanam. May our minds become harmonized. Samanena, that is, together we even invoke you. See, this is such a profound observation by our sages. We can sit in the assembly, 20 people can be sitting in the assembly, and 20 people may be worshipping different deities. And each one in his mind thinking, see, next to me there is this person who is worshipping a deity which is not mine. And therefore there is no harmony. So therefore, Samanena, together, all of us in the assembly, for the sake of achieving this harmony, we offer oblations. So that, for what purpose? all our deliberations go on in a friendly and productive way. This can happen only when all our emotions and the intellect is in harmony for the good of things. So this is not wishy-washy idea, because wishy-washy idea is simply saying, let us all be together, let us all be harmonious. But then in heart of hearts there is no such commitment. And here the mantra is saying, let there be a total commitment for bringing harmony by every one of us. So I wish every meeting starts with this mantra. I make a special effort to chant this mantra at the end of every wedding that I officiate. Because it is not just a boy and girl coming together. It is the two families coming together, the extended families coming together. The friends of the boy should become the friends of the girl. The friends of the girl's parents should become the friends of the boy's parents. How much do you see in society this happening? What a tragedy. All that we require is samano mantraha samitis samani. Is this something new that we are talking about? If that is so, why should the most ancient text of Rigveda talk about it? It is because even in Rigvedic times this challenge was there. In fact, the Rigveda itself tells us of a story, and in that story, Rigveda says, in ancient times, that means the ancient times of the ancient Rigveda, there was a terrible clash between the Aryas and the Dasyus. So please don't misunderstand. The Western scholars have completely twisted the meaning of Arya and Dasyu. Arya and Dasyu are only gunavachakas. So what is the meaning of gunavachaka? It is a description of the characteristic character. What is the character of an Arya? The character of an Arya is Sabhyaha, Sajjanaha, Sadhuhu. Sabhyaha means worthy of sitting in an august assembly. Sajjanaha means he is a good person. And Sadhu means he is a gentle person. So 3 important ingredients make a person an Arya. He must be gentle, he must be a good person, and he must be worthy of sitting in an august assembly. And obviously he must be a very learned person also. When all these 3 things are there, he is called Arya. And not only that, he follows Shishtachara. That means a conduct of the noble. What is Shishtachara? Please refer to Taittiriya Upanishad. Ye tatra brahmana samharshinaha yukta ayuktaha yatha te tatra varteran tatha tatra vartethaha. Where the very learned, ancient, good people conducted themselves, so I shall also conduct myself. One who does that is a Arya. And this Arya and the Dasyus, who were a little barbaric and who were also, harsh people, and then so this clash happened between them. They were indiscriminate, avivekis. So which means that Aryas and Dasyus are there in both sides of this war. And that this war is called in the Rigveda as the Dasharaja Yajna, Dasharaja war. That means 10 tribes came together in a clash in the Panchanada area. Panchanada is present-day Punjab, which is the 5 rivers. In the Panchanada areas, Rigveda recounts the war between these, the Dasharajas And these Dasarajas, where both Aryas and Dasyus were there, again Gunavachaka. And in this skirmish, at the end of the war, a truce emerged. And the truce emerged, and the very, very learned, noble sages from both sides sat together in a Yajnashala. And this mantra is probably the result of the deliberations of that assembly. So how did they make sure that this culture is transmitted to the posterity? Because look at the format of the yajna itself. No yajna. A homa is a different thing. A yajna, no yajna can be conducted without the presence of at least 4 ritviks. And there will be 12 helping ritviks. There will be 16 people. This many of you have seen. We have practiced this for the last 18 years in Kalamazoo Yajna. We always have 16 assigned priests. And we also bring the 16 pillars. What are the pillars? These 16 ritviks are the pillars. And we establish these 16 pillars, and the Yajnashala, the Yajnakunda itself, is in the center of this, and all the 16 priests and everybody sit in this assembly along with Yajamana and Patni. So that means even a sponsoring person who could be according to the Varna, even if whether he is a Brahmin or a Kshatriya or a Vaishya or a Shudra, it doesn't matter. But the thing is, the Varna of the person who is sponsoring the Yajna is actually a Kshatriya Varna. It is not the caste in which he is born. So therefore, Kshatriya Varna in the shape of Yajamana and Patni, the 16 Ritviks in the shape of Brahmana. So Yatra Brahmacha Kshatrancha, where the power and intelligence of the Yajamana, who is a Kshatriya, and the wisdom and the knowledge of the Ritvik, both of them, when they come together, Yajna becomes perfect. And this is the reason why in any Yajna we have representatives of all the 4 Vedas and the 12 helping priests. That is, each of the Veda priests will have 3 persons assigned, and then you have the Yajamana and the Patni. And these are all the dramatization and a reaffirmation of the Samjnana mantra. So we can take a few more minutes and conclude the study of this, because the last mantra, the 4th mantra, is an Ashirvachana or a benediction. Samani va'akutis samana hridayani vaha samanamastu vo mano yatha vasu sahasati. So this again reaffirms the central message of the Veda itself, not just Rigveda, the entire Vedic corpus. Oneness, unity, the one. So to achieve this harmony, our intellect, represented by Kshatriya, Yajamana, Indra, and the Ritviks, representing wisdom, Brihaspati, must unite. So when Indra, the Devaraja, and Brihaspati, Deva Guru, come together, it means the intellect is in association with wisdom. So mere intellect without wisdom is dangerous. Wisdom without intellect is useless. So both of them must come together. So the mantra is saying, the more and more commitment is there for the buddhi to the wise, for the student to listen to the Guru Vakya, for Indra to listen to Brihaspati. What does it create? It creates a tolerance, Sahana Shakti, and it creates cordiality. And this cordiality within ourselves, this training we get with our Guru, this cordiality generates harmony within ourselves, and that we carry to our family and bring that cordiality into the family. And the family and the individual with this cordiality will take it to society. So you can see how one noble Guru-Shishya Sambandha who practice the Samjnana Mantra, the Aikamatya Mantra, by just that presence and the interaction, the person becomes harmonized, the family becomes harmonized, society itself becomes harmonized. This is exactly the ideal of the entire Vedic message. That's why it is also the last mantra, very last mantra of the Rigveda. Because in the Mangalacharana and in the when we are giving the Ashirvachana, we should say, you have heard a lot, but then this is what you should do. Shravana is over. Now it is time for Nididhyasa. Naha akutihi samanaha bhavantu. May all our resolve become harmonious. Vaha hridayani samana. Your feelings towards the others, let them become even and balanced. What is even and balanced? Not too much attachment, not too much aversion. Because too much attachment is also dangerous. Too much aversion harms ourselves. Too much attachment harms the person who is getting attached, because then the other person cannot breathe. Too much detachment, complete ignoring the other person, then we get destroyed. So therefore this balance, samanam manaha vaha astu. How? Yatha vaha susahasati. So that you are all together in unity and mutual tolerance. Susahasati means saha asati, sahavartitvam. That means you become comfortable in the presence of the others. One of the greatest difficulty is we build a huge wall around us that nobody can penetrate. And that wall should come down. When that comes down, saha vartitvam. Vartana means conduct. Saha means together. So this philosophy translates itself into actual working for the sake of this harmony. The central message of the Rigveda, and an outstanding hymn, just 4 mantras. With this, we conclude our study of the Aikamatya Sukta.